Namaskaram. As per Acharya Niyamanam of Vedanta Vidwan Dr. Srimati Usha Narasimhan Mami, Adiyan is fortunate to be speaking about Swami Deshikar as a small offering from SRG School of Vedanta for the upcoming Tirunakshatram of Swami Deshikar. This falls on October 2nd this year. We will start with the series by offering our obeisances to the entire Acharya Guru Parampara. श्रीनिवासयति श्रेष्ठतया पात्रं गुणान्वितः कौशिको अनन्तरङ्गार्यः चिरं विजयतां भुवि न्यस्तात्मीयभरं वरप्रदगुरौ वैराग्यभाग्यो ददौ वेदान्तामृतसारवन्तम् अनघात् श्रीश्रीनिवासात् गुरोः श्रीशैलान्वयकौस्तुभस्य तनयम् श्रेयो निधे श्रीनिधे वन्दे साधुकटाक्षकेळिनिलयम् श्रीकृष्णसद्देशिकम् श्रीनारायणयोगीन्द्रवरदार्यकृपाश्रयम् रङ्गेशपादविनतम् श्रीनिवासमुनिम् भजे श्रीवासरङ्गपरकालमुनित्रयाप्तलक्ष्मात्मरक्षणयति युगागमान्तम् आचार्यभक्तिपरिपूतमनर्घशीलम् गोपालदेशिकमुनिम् गुरुम् आश्रयामः वेदान्तदेशिकयतीन्द्रकटाक्षलब्धत्रय्यन्तसारमनवद्य बुधाग्रयम् नारायणाध्ययति तुर्यकृपाभिषिक्तम् श्रीरङ्गनाथयतिशेखरम् आश्रयामः श्रीमान् वेङ्कटनाथार्य कवितार्किककेसरी वेदान्ताचार्यवर्यो मे सन्निधत्तां सदा हृदि रामानुजदया पात्रं ज्ञानवैराग्यभूषणम् श्रीमद्वेङ्कटनाथार्यं वन्दे वेदान्तदेशिकम् प्रणामं लक्ष्मणमुनिः प्रतिगृह्णातु मामकम् प्रसादयति यत्सूक्तिः स्वाधीनपतिकां श्रुतिम् सह धर्मचर्यं शौरेः सम्मन्त्रितजगद्धिताम् अनुग्रहमयीं वन्दे नित्यमज्ञातनिग्रहाम् कमप्याद्यं गुरुं वन्दे कमलागृहमेदिनम् प्रवक्ता छन्दसां वक्ता पञ्चरात्र्यस्य यः स्वयं गुरुभ्यः तद्गुरुभ्यश्च नमो वागमदीमहे प्रणीमहे च तत्र्याद्यौ दम्पती जगदाम्पती. We have now offered our pranams to the entire Acharya Guru Parampara, starting from the Divya Dampati themselves up until Asmad Acharya. We will start by learning the divine life history of Swami Vedanta Deshikar, followed by understanding the meaning of every verse of Pillai Andadi. As you will be aware, Pillai Andadi is a composition on Swami Deshikar composed by his prime disciple and his own son, Kumara Varadacharya, or as we fondly call him as Nayanacharya. Now, one might think, what is the relevance of us learning the life history of Acharyas who were born 750 years ago on today's fast-paced world? Let's look at some of the benefits that we could reap out of learning these life histories. It is said that as soon as a Prapanna wakes up in the morning, we will have to chant Hari's name followed by Dhyanam of the Guru Parampara. This sets the tone for the entire day and cleanses our mind. So imagine listening to the stories of Acharya Parampara and Acharyas will only cleanse our mind. What does a clean mind attract? It attracts the God himself. He will come and sit in our mind and make sure that he steals away our heart like he did with the pot of butter. The second benefit is how our Acharyas handle difficult situations in their day-to-day life will help us appreciate their sacrifice. There have been such difficult situations where they had to even sacrifice their life. They had to sleep amidst dead bodies. There are so many crossroads that they came across. All of this will help us appreciate the kind of difficulties that were posed on them, but also how have they handled all of these situations. This will help us to have the mindset to take forward this rich parampara of sampradayam to the next generation. The third benefit is we understand such complex topics like karma yoga, bhakti yoga, prapatti by just going through the acharyas' lives, especially as a prapanna. How do we lead the life of a prapanna with a sense of bliss? How could we experience the experience of how a Nityasuri offers their Kainkaryam to the Divya Dampati every day? We would be able to experience this by being in this material world itself. As a smart devotee, what we could do is look into the works of Madhura Kavi Alvar, which he has shown through the 10 simple pasurams of Kanninun Shirathambu, which he offered at the lotus feet of Nammalvar. What he has shown through these 10 pasurams is very important for each one of us to follow. He has shown us that Acharya Bhakti is more important than Bhagavad Bhakti, as an Acharya is more compassionate than the Lord. The Lord is known for playing playful tricks on a devotee, whereas an Acharya is someone who prevents a devotee from even doing a mistake and always thinks of his hita. On a lighter note, what could potentially happen to us if we were to listen to the Acharya's life history is in today's world, we see that people have a habit of following everybody on social media. Why are we trying to follow people? We want to know what's happening in their lives. What do they do from the time they wake up in the morning up until when they go back to bed? And we start following people as their fans. When do we become a fan? When we like some of their values, when we like what they are doing in their day-to-day lives. Similarly, when we get to know what our acharyas did in their day-to-day life, what are some of the sahasas that they have done in order to keep up this sampradaya? All the big feat that they have taken in order to restore everything that was given to us by our rich heritage of Guru Parampara, we will also start falling in love with our acharyas, and this would immediately transform into Acharya Bhakti. Where there is Acharya Bhakti, there is a clean mind. Where there is a clean mind, there is the God dwelling in our heart. On that note, let's start understanding Swami Desikan's avataram. Swami Desikan's avataram was a divine blessing for the world. At a time when Sri Vaishnava Sampradaya needed protection and guidance after the ascent of Bhagavat Ramanuja to Vaikuntham, he appeared to preserve, protect, and propagate the Vishishtadvaita Siddhanta. With unmatched brilliance, he was at once a poet of deep devotion, a logician who refuted opposing schools, and a teacher who lived by example. He safeguarded our temples and scriptures during times of turmoil, and he made the path of prapatti so accessible to one and all. His life stands as a shining message that true greatness is to combine scholarship with humility and devotion with discipline. Swami Desikan's avataram reminds us that when dharma needs protection, God will send very special people to this material world to guide and uplift humanity. So let's start by understanding Swami Desikan's avatara details, like his birth details. Before that, shall we understand who were his parents? Adain will start sharing my screen now so that you could also visually see the details that I'm going to be speaking about. Swami Desikan's parents, let's try to understand what a rich lineage he comes from. So his paternal lineage was one amongst the 74 Simhasanadipatis that was established by Swami Ramanuja himself. From those 74 Simhasana Adipatis came Ananta Somayaji, whose son was Pundariksha Yajwa, and to him was born Ananta Suri, who is going to be the father of Swami Desikan. His maternal lineage was no short of this kind of a very rich heritage. Swami Ramanujar, when he was faced with a difficulty of being poisoned, someone poisoned the food that Swami Ramanujar was consuming through Unchavritti, off came Kidambi Achan to be his special chef who would prepare everything with utmost devotion and offer it to Swami on a day-to-day basis. From this clan of Kidambi Achan came Kidambi Ramanuja Pillan, to whom was born Kidambi Ranga Ramanujacharya. And in that lineage came Swami Appullar, who is also called as Atreya Ramanuja. Now, Swami Appullar's sister was Totaramma, who is going to be the mother of Swami Desikan. Now, this divine wedding was planned by Perarulala Perumal himself of Kanchipuram. Now, after the wedding, for many, many years, Swami Desikan's parents were childless for a very long time. One particular day, Lord Srinivasa of Tirupati appeared in Anantasuri's dream and ordered them to set on a pilgrimage to Tirumala Tirupati. Anantasuri and Totarama climbed the 7 hills by foot. They started their journey from Kanchipuram and walked all the way to Tirumala Tirupati, and they had a very beautiful darshan of Perumal. That night, because those days were not like today's date where we have transport so easily available, they had to do everything by foot. So they had to rest in a Divya Desham before they could set back to their hometown. So they decided to rest in the mandapam that was next to the temple. That night, there was a divine dream, which was the play of the Lord. Let's see what happened. Now, the Lord appeared in both Totarama and Anantasuri's dream individually. He took the form of a small boy, and in both of their dreams, he offered a bell, a ghanta, to both Totarama and to Anantasuri. But in Totarama's dream, she saw that she visibly swallowed the bell that was given to her. The next morning, when the couple woke up, they were so interested to share their dreams with each other, and they were so surprised that their dreams were identical, but they didn't know what was the meaning of this dream. In the meantime, they started hearing a lot of helter-skelter in the background in the temple. The Archaka, who had opened the main Garbhagriha door, was taken aback to see that the temple bell was missing. So everyone in the temple was running around the temple to go find the temple bell. At that point in time, the Periyanambi clan, Periya Tirumalai Nambi's clan, one of the person who was serving in the temple, by Avesha of Perumal spoke, and he said that it's the divine will of the Lord that the temple bell has gone missing. From that day until today, there is no ringing of the bell during Tiruvaradhanam for Tirupati Perumal. Now, what happens to the bell thereafter is the interesting twist in the story. So, Totarama dreamt that she had swallowed the bell. After her months of full pregnancy, she delivered Swami Desikan in the year 1268 in the month of Puratasi on the Dasami day of Shukla Paksha in the nakshatra of Shravana. Shravana nakshatra is that of Tirupati Perumal himself. Swami Desikan was beaming with Brahma Tejas. Because he was born in Tirupati Perumal's Nakshatram, Appullar, who is his uncle, named him as Venkatanathan. Swami Desikan, as usual, was introduced into Aksharabhyasam at the age of 5, and he had his Upanayanam at the age of 7 years. One day, when Appullar was trying to leave his house to go to Kanchipuram temple and attend the Kalakshepam of his Acharya Naradur Amar, little Swami Desikan was behind him and insisted that he should also be taken to the Kalakshepam. Now, Kidambi Appullar made Desikan understand that that's a very big gathering of disciples of Naradur Amar, and taking a child over there would be inappropriate. But Desikan was hell-bent that he has to accompany his uncle. So without much choice, Kidambi Appullar took small little Desikan as a small boy to the Kalakshepa Mandap. mandapam. Today as well, we can see this mandapam in Kanchipuram temple. It is called Kachika Vaitan Mandapam. So as Swami Desikan and Appullar were entering the mandapam, Nadadu Rammal was delivering a kalakshepam. On seeing the Brahma Tejas of this little boy who had accompanied Appullar, Nadadu Rammal stopped the kalakshepam. He took Desikan into his lap and he blessed him with so much lust, with so much love. He uttered these words, which were nothing but a blessing for Swami to establish such a strong sampradaya in the future. The words of blessings go as Pratishtapita Vedanta Pratikshipta Bahir Mataha Bhuya Traividya Manyas Tvam Bhuri Kalyana Bhajanam. This loosely translates into you are going to establish a very strong foundation and you would also refute all the Bahya Matas and you will establish the right meaning for the Vedas. Following this order of Naradu Rammal, though he was really keen to impart all the knowledge to Swami Desikan, because he was really old, he instructed Kidambi Appullar to be his Acharyan and give him all the vidyas that was required for Desikan to become a scholar. So Swami Desikan learned all the Shastras, the Vedas, the Tarka Nyayam, Tarka Shastra, Nyaya Shastra, and the Divya Prabandham at the feet of Swami Appullar. Swami was a Eka Santagrahi, which means that just by the utterance of any Veda Sutram or any Veda Mantram for just once, he would grasp it at the first go. His Pancha Samskaram was also done by Swami Appullar. At the age of 20, Swami had become a scholar of every Shastra possible and was a full-fledged Vedanta Vidwan by now. Slowly, as Swami Desikan turned 21 years, now Appullar and his parents started looking out for a suitable bride to bring Swami Desikan into the Grihastha Ashramam. So they married him to Tirumangai or Kanakavalli at the age of 21. Appullar was soon becoming old and he wanted to hand over every asset that he had, which added value to the Sampradaya. So Swami Desikan would go every day on Unchavriti and get the resources that's needed for performing his Tiruvaradana. And he performed all the requirements of his Grihastha. One fine day, Swami Appullar, when he realized that his ascent to Vaikuntham was nearing, he called upon Swami Desikan and he handed over Swami Ramanujar's Padukai and also the Shankha Chakra Lanchana Mudra, that the metal that is used for doing the Pancha Samskaram, he handed over these two to Swami Desikan. He also taught him the Garuda Mantra. Now, within few days, it was time for Appullar to attain Acharyas' holy feet in Vaikuntham. The loss of his uncle and his Acharya put Swami Desikan under grief. So in order to bring about some change of mind, he moved from Kanchipuram to Tiruvahindrapuram. There were some important series of events that was lined up for Swami Desikan in Tiruvahindrapuram. He did Mangala Shasanam to Daivanayaka Perumal and Pirati in Tiruvahindrapuram. He saw that there was a mountain called Aushatagiri, and he went and sat atop the mountain. He started doing avriti of the Garuda Mantram that was taught to him by Swami Appullar. He did it with utmost devotion and complete focus. So Garuda was pleased with his devotion and appeared in front of Swami Desikan. And after having Garuda's Pratyaksham, Garuda also did an Upadesham of Hayagriva Mantra, and he also presented a Hayagriva Vigraham to Swami Desikan, which he thereafter started performing Nitya Tiruvaradhanam to. Now, Swami Desikan started doing avriti of the Hayagriva Mantram that was given to him by Garuda. After doing several avrittis of the Hayagriva Mantram, Hayagriva Pratyaksham happened to Swami Deshikar. And Hayagriva blessed Swami Deshikar with all the jnanam. He gave him all the pravachana shakti and also gave him his own lalamritam. With all of this, Swami was blessed with unparalleled vidvat, and he started on to chant so many stotras. He started off with the Hayagriva Stotra. He then composed the Garuda Panchashat. He composed the Devanayaka Panchashat. He also composed the Achyuta Shatakam in Prakrita Bhasha. Then he composed Mummani Kovai and Navamani Malai as Tamil Desika Prabandham. This was the start to a great and rich legacy of all the compositions of Swami Deshikar. Soon after spending a few days in Tiruvahindrapuram, Swami's mind went towards having a darshan of Varadaraja Perumal. So he wanted to set foot towards Kanchipuram. On the way to Kanchipuram, he visited Tirukkovalur, Tiruvikkama Perumal, where the initial three Alvars, the first three Alvars of Poigai Alvar, Bhudat Alvar, and Pei Alvar actually met. So he composed Dehalisa Stuti in praise of Tirukkovalur Perumal. He then composed on seeing Varadaraja Perumal in Kanchipuram, he was taken to ultimate levels of bhakti and he composed Nyasa Dashakam, Varadaraja Panchashat, Adaikalapatte and Artha Panchakam in Tamil. Then he visited Tiruvekka Devyadesam and he composed the Vega Setu Stotram. Swami then resided in Kanchi for a few years and composed several Chillarai Rahasya Granthams like Sampradaya Parishuddhi and many others. It was at that point in time when Apulla's descendants actually handed over another Hayagriva Murti to Swami Deshikar. This Hayagriva Murti was extremely special because it was not something ordinary. This was the Hayagriva Murti that was presented to Swami Ramanujar by Saraswati Devi herself. So Swami was extremely thrilled and he included this Murti as well into his Nitya Aradhana. Now, as days went by, Swami Deshikar wanted to have the darshan of Tirumala Tirupati Perumal. It is interesting that Swami Deshikar himself is a Gantavataram and also the avataram of Tirumalai Tirupati Perumal himself. So it's interesting that he also wanted to go and seek the blessings of Perumal. So he went there by foot, similar to his parents. And on seeing Perumal and Tayar, he immediately started composing the Daya Shatakam, which is nothing less of a magnum opus. Then Swami went on to a pilgrimage to northern part of India. It's amazing for us to think about today when we have all facilities of transport. We have air transport, road transport, name it, and we have that kind of a mode of transport. And yet it's so hard for us to find time to go and visit all of these Divya Desams. But in those days, the people and our Acharyas have traveled each of these temples, traveled to these parts by foot. So Swami went on a pilgrimage to Vrindavan, to Tiru Ayodhya, to Salagram and Badrikashramam. He's rested in all of these Divya Deshams for a couple of days and completely enjoyed the Lord in each of these places. He then returned southwards towards Tiruvallikeni. He then went to Tiru-Ebbul, which is also Tiruvallur, and finally went to Sri Perumbudur, where he had the beautiful darshan of Swami Ramanujar himself. And then he returned back to Kanchipuram and he was happily doing the Siddhanta propagation. At this point in time, when Swami was almost over the age of 45, he had a divine blessing of Varadaraja Perumal. He had a niyamanam from Varadaraja Perumal to create progeny as part of his Grihasthashrama. So with the blessings of Perarulala Perumal of Kanchi, Deshikar and his wife gave birth on Avani Masam Rohini Nakshatram, that of Krishna himself. They gave birth to Kumara Varadacharya because he was born with the blessings of Varadan. They named him Varadan himself. So the Jata Karma, the Upanayanam, the Vidyabhyasam, Pancha Sanskaram, all of this for Kumara Varadacharya was done at the holy feet of Desikan himself. He must be extremely blessed to be born to Swami Desikan himself and also have him as an Acharya. Now, as days passed, the glory of Swami Desikan started reaching far and wide. And people started wondering, how could he be such a well-established person in all the fields? So there was definitely jealousy that was getting rooted amidst people who called themselves to be Vidwans. So one day, there was one such sannyasi who came from a different mata, from a different sampradaya, who wanted to come and engage in a debate with Swami Desikan. The debate went on for hours and days, and finally Swami Desikan won the debate. But jealousy did not leave this sannyasi. He couldn't accept his defeat. So he wanted to do something to wrong Swami Desikan. So what did he do? This particular sannyasi knew some tricks and tantric way of infusing black magic on human beings. So he went to a nearby pond and he chanted few tantric mantras and he started consuming water from the pond. As he was consuming water here, Swami Desikan, who was sitting in his house, he started feeling a profuse sense of pain in his stomach and started seeing that water was getting collected in his stomach. He couldn't bear the pain anymore and he thought he went into deep meditative mode on Perumal and he scratched the pillar that was next to him. To his surprise and to everybody's surprise, the water that was accumulated in Swami Desikan's stomach started oozing out of the pillar that he scratched. And very soon, Swami's pain and the water that was accumulated was completely relieved and he was able to get out of this pain within seconds. This taught a very good lesson to the sannyasi who came from a different sampradaya, and he learned a lesson, and never after did he turn his face towards Swami Desikan. Similarly, let's try to see what was the Vairagyam level of Swami Desikan. In his Taniyan, we say Jnana Vairagya Bhushanam. So he has ornaments which are Jnanam and Vairagyam. What do we understand by Vairagyam? It's not that we lead a life of sannyasam where we've left everything in this material world and we go as an ascetic to Himalayas. No, it means that very much Swami was within his grihastha. He had access to every bit of the material world's luxuries, but he stayed away. He practiced complete detachment from all of these by being very much in the material world. So let's look at two incidents that would show us what kind of Vairagyam Swami had. So one particular day when Swami went on Unchavritti, this was for him to collect the resources that was required for performing the Nitya Tiruvaradana. So Swami went house by house, and there were a lot of people who were concerned about the utter levels of poverty in which Swami and his wife were living in. So out of good intentions, some of the people within the village actually mixed gold coins with the rice grains that they presented to Swami Desikan in his Unchavritti. Now, Swami Desikan did not notice this, and he came home and handed over the resources to his wife. His wife, who has never seen gold coins in her life, brought it back to Swami and said, "There is something that is shimmering amidst these rice grains. I don't know what these are, Swami." And Swami looks at them. He takes a grass dharba and he doesn't even touch them with his hands, and he pushes them out and says that, "You know what, Kanakavalli, all of these are worms that will take us away from Bhagavad Bhakti. So we should never ever take this into our house." And he actually expelled all of them out of their house. Such was the Vairagyam of Swami Desikan, that even if someone gifted that to him, he did not accept it because he was completely engrossed in Bhagavad Bhakti always. Let's look at another incident. So Swami's childhood friend Vidyaranya was living in Vijayanagara Empire's king's court at that point in time. He was in a very well-off position. Now, as Swami started traveling place by place and winning debates, his fame was also spreading far and wide. So his friend Vidyaranya also heard about Swami's Vidvat Shakti and all the compositions that he had done. But he was very saddened to learn that Swami Desikan was living in very, very little means with in ultimate poverty. So as a friend, his heart fell for this. And he said, somehow I have to help my friend get some kind of a material some kind of material belonging, so that not belonging, but to get some riches in the material world so that he could lead a comfortable life. So, out of goodwill, he sends a letter to Swami Desikan and he says that I am employed in Vijayanagara Samrajya's court and I have recommended you to be the poet in this court, and you will get a very handsome sum as a salary on a month-on-month basis. So you don't have to live in poverty. You immediately set on a journey from Kanchipuram to the Vijayanagara Samrajya. Now Swami read this letter first and very politely he refused and he sent a response back. But his friend sent another letter again, insisting that Swami has to come and join the Vijayanagara Samrajya. This time Swami composed a 5 shloka Vairagya Panchakam, and it is so beautiful when you read the Vairagya Panchakam. He tells us, as the readers of Vairagya Panchakam, that all the material riches that you're talking about are so temporary, they're so chanchala. Today they will be with you, but tomorrow they might find a different place. And that's not going to lead you towards any kind of happiness. Whereas my family has handed over to me the most fixed asset which will not move from me at all. And what was he referring to? He was referring to the Swami who stands on top of the Hastagiri hill as Perarulala Perumal himself. Varada is someone who's standing there to give us unlimited boons, provided they do hita to us. And that's why he's called as Varada. So Swami said that I don't need any other asset or any other riches other than Varada himself, and refused to move to Vijayanagara Samrajya or even go and serve any other king in any other province too. Such was the legacy and vairagyam of Swami Deshikar. Now, if we reflect on Swami Desikan's these incidents in our today's life, we're all running behind money. How much money is sufficient money for us? We don't know. If we have 2 houses, we want another house. If we have a 2 BHK, we need a 3 BHK. So there is a never-ending want for money that we need. So we can only pray to Swami that we get vairagyam, and we're not running behind money, but we actually run behind Swami Varadan and also Swami Desikan and Swami Ramanujar, so that we're able to do justice to our Sampradaya and be propagators of Sampradaya and lead a very blissful life thereafter. For today, we have seen very little part of Swami Desikan's initial days. There are still a lot of twists and turns that are yet to unfold in Swami Desikan's life, which we will see in the upcoming episodes that will be published. Kavitarkika Simhaya Kalyana Gunashaline Srimate Venkateshaya Vedanta Gurave Namaha Srimate Nigamanta Mahadeshikaya Namaha Srimate Anantarangarya Mahadeshikaya Namaha Srimate Gopala Deshika Mahadeshikaya Namaha Srimate Srivansharagopa Sri Ranganatha Yatindra Mahadeshikaya Namaha. Dhanyosmi.